Hey you guys, it's Desiree with 360 Financial Group. I wanted to give you an overview of how a health and welfare trust, which is also known as a private health services plan, works in terms of saving business owners with an incorporated company a lot of money on tax when you're spending money on personal services for health and dental expenses. So the first thing I wanted to do is just give you a quick overview on tax and how tax works in terms of a corporation. So when you have an incorporated business, we're just going to use Bob as an example. He owns ABC Incorporated, and for the first $500,000 of business income, he's going to be taxed at 13.5%. So the main benefit, one of the main benefits of owning a corporation is the money you save on tax. So ideally, Bob wants to keep as much of his income inside of his corporation because that's where he's going to be the tax the least amount. As soon as Bob pays himself a salary out of his corporation, let's say he's earning $100,000 per year from his corporation. For that income, he would be taxed at 40%. So in this scenario, let's say Bob is paying about $40,000 in tax and keeping $60,000 of income based on a $100,000 salary. So what a health and welfare trust allows Bob to do is when his family goes to the dentist, let's say his kids need braces. So he's going to have a $3,000 expense for his kids' braces. Rather than spending this money paying tax, keeping a net income, and then paying $3,000 out of this $60,000 that he's left with, Bob, with using the structure of a health and welfare trust, he can now transfer this $3,000 back into the corporation. So he's going to save himself at least $2,000 on tax just on this one transaction of paying for his kids' braces. The maximum that you're allowed to write off as a business owner using a health and welfare trust is 15% of your T4 salary income. So using this example with Bob, if he's paid himself a $100,000 salary, he can write off $15,000 in expenses based on medical and dental expenses that are allowed by CRA. So let's just say Bob, he has two kids, he spends $3,000 each on their braces. He has laser eye surgery. He does a bunch of things that cost him about $15,000 in a year on health and dental expenses. The benefit of Bob running that $15,000 through his incorporation, rather than paying that money out to himself personally and paying tax on that, he's going to save about $10,000 just in tax by setting up a health and welfare trust. So I know this is a lot of numbers, but essentially what's going to happen is for Bob to net $15,000 and pay that on his family's health and dental expenses, he actually has to pay himself out of his corporation about $25,000, pay tax at a 40% tax bracket to net that $15,000 and then pay for those expenses. So that's where I'm getting the $10,000 because he has to pay himself out $25,000, pay tax of $10,000 to net the $15,000 and then spend that money on his health and dental. So essentially with the private health plan or the health and welfare trust, we are keeping all of these expenses inside of the corporation. So he's saving tax personally, and he's also getting more deductions for his taxes on his business as well, because every one of those expenses is lowering his taxable income inside of his corporation. So it gets a little bit complicated, but the main message is that you are going to save a lot of money on tax if you have an incorporated business. If you're spending out of pocket on health and dental expenses, there's a lot of coverages things that can be covered, such as if you don't want to wait a year and a half for an MRI, you can get your business to pay for an MRI. If you need to go have private surgery in the States, you can go and have your business pay for your private surgery. If you, like I said, braces, any type of paramedical treatments like massage therapy, chiropractic therapy, anything naturopath, if you're paying for private naturopathic cancer treatments, anything that you're under the CRA guidelines that qualifies under a medical treatment can be written off through your corporation and will ultimately save you a lot of money on tax. So if you have any questions about this, please feel free to give me a shout. It's my phone number is 778-245-2262. I'll leave my contact details at the bottom of the video and you can reach out to me. Thanks.